Live from Loudon, welcome race fans, one and all, back to the Classic Indycar Series, round number 9, about to kick off from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It's the Magic Mile, and one of the final ovals will be seen throughout the course of the 2024 campaign. My name is Nolan Rempel, bringing you all of racing action here this afternoon from start to finish of what will no doubt be a very fun race here this afternoon. 200 laps about to kick off from this beautiful little 1 mile facility. It has long been host to several thrilling races, and we're looking set to see a thriller here this afternoon. Last time these guys raced out here, it was all the way back in 2020, and you know for a fact that all of these drivers this afternoon are going to be in for a good show. It's been a few years since they've come around here, and the last time they were here, they had 7 cautions, one of the most out of any oval we saw throughout the 2020 campaign. Will it be a similar show here tonight, or will this race be going green effectively to the end, like so many of the ovals have throughout the course of the season? We'll find all that out in just a few moments, but for now, the championship standings entering today. Currently, provisionally, Ethan Hagen is on the top with the points. This is before drop weeks are factored in. Here's the interesting thing, though. Cameron Danz, with factor in drop weeks, would be ahead reportedly by about 6 points or so. So those drop weeks are already started to come into play. Ethan Hagen's title hopes not safe in the slightest, with Cameron Danz reeling the gap in. And with both drivers here this afternoon, it's going to be a hard-fought fight all around for both drivers, trying to see if they could get an advantage and a leg up throughout the entire duration of racing action here this afternoon. So warm-up is just underway. We, of course, saw qualifying taking place about 5-10 minutes ago, and it was a close qualifying session at that. We'll be able to get into all the ins and outs of that in just a little while. Of course, the track temperature, only 84 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 degrees Fahrenheit in the air. Those are manageable track temperatures. These Indy cars should be having themselves with a good time this afternoon at the Magic Mile. It's a very flat track, though, meaning it's a very unique challenge compared to the other mile and a half, or the other oval tracks, really, that the Classic IndyCar Series has been out to. This is one of the shortest tracks they'll be out to, and there's no better driver to tell what this track will be like than one of the drivers themselves. Let's go to your weekly track guide.
Welcome to Michigan International Speedway, located in Brooklyn, Michigan. I will take you on board for a lap around this track. The 2 mile oval is one of the fastest tracks on this year's CIS schedule. Going into turn 1, we'll reach speeds of up to 220 miles per hour in clean air. Thanks to the width of the track, we will see drivers pushing it 2, 3 or even 4 wide. We want to use all the track and exit turn 2 right next to the wall to keep the tire temp.
And well, still had the Michigan track guide queued up, so it doesn't look like we'll be able to get the New Hampshire Motor Speedway track guide, but I can promise you it's going to be a very unique challenge. You see a lot of these drivers having to, of course, navigate this racetrack very technically. You see them downshifting into 5th gear and then up through 6th. Absolutely blistering speeds. You're riding on board right now with Ethan Hagen, top of the board so far in the warm-up session. He could give us a good lap guide as any, as he takes that one all the way around the racetrack. A little bit of progressive banking, and you can see not going all the way against the bottom lane, not willing to flirt with the margins too much. It'll be the same story here for Randy Shoemake, looking to take this one all the way to the high lane, and this is all about momentum. And these cars with all this downforce, it's very much a momentum-based racetrack, so that's where everything is going to be panning on out here this afternoon. So Randy Shoemake, we're looking to come around the final couple of corners again, not getting further down than about the 2nd and 3rd lanes on the racetrack, up at the 6th gear just for that little bit of top-end charge at the end of the straights before diving back down and in for turn number 1. So there's a lot to be excited about this afternoon. It's an extremely technical racetrack, one of the most unique tracks we're going to be seeing this championship running to throughout the course of the season. And it'll be the last oval race we see all the way until October, with the Legacy Phoenix Raceway. The old 2008 oval play host to a 200-lap race. And there will be a trio of road courses between that, with the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Road America, and Fuji International Speedway. Well, with all that said and done, it's about high time that we take a rundown of how this race is going to kick on off. Field is set. Qualifying is at its conclusion, so let's take a rundown and show you what that starting grid will look like as they line it up on pit road, ready to rumble. Starting on pole position this afternoon, you're going to have none other than the likes of Ethan Hagan starting on pole position. Jamie Wilson starts alongside him on the front row, about a tenth of a second off, but less than half a tenth back from him, it's Andrew Aitken bringing it up on the inside of row number 2. Cameron Dance, runner-up of the points for now. Could be the provisional points leader when factoring in drop weeks. He starts in 4th. Logan Simmons will be starting his race from the number 5 spot. Robert Groscher has made his appearance once again. He's been running part-time throughout the Classic Indycar Series throughout 2024. He starts in 6th. Randy Shoemate, the Texas native, will be starting down in the number 7 spot inside of row number 4. Franz Josef Stum is in 8th. Jan Hoffman is 9th. Marshall Stanley is down in 10th. BJO is in 11th with Louis Zambelli in 12th. And Rafael Rodriguez starts 13th. The last driver put down a qualifying lap about half a second off. Johnny Garrett starts 14th. Rob Barnicow is in 15th. And then Bill Cawley and Jack Turner bring it up 15th and 16th and 17th, on the grid. Now, these are two big names right here at the tail end of the field, of course. Jack Turner, a driver making his return after an extended hiatus from the Classic Indycar Series. So he is one of those returning members that we're glad to see back on track again. And we're glad to see new faces as well. Bill Cawley making his series debut this afternoon out of Ohio. So it is going to be a fun drive, no doubt, for both these drivers. They have started from the tail of the grid, not putting down qualifying laps. And we'll be getting ourselves up and rolling for the green flag in just a few seconds. 200 laps, and as I always say at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, it could very much go either way. So we'll see which type of race we'll get this afternoon. Will it be a wreck fest, or will it be a race that could see itself going green to the end? We'll find out. The pace car is down in the pit road. We're happy that you're joining us here on a Sunday afternoon. From the Magic Mile, it's go, go, go! One car hard into the wall already. Coming into turn number 1, Jamie Wilson is out just as quickly as the race gets started. So we got one down and one out. Jamie Wilson with a single car spin hard into the outside wall in turn number 1. And that puts us under the yellow flags for the first time this afternoon from the Magic Mile. So a tough, tough break there for Jamie Wilson. Let's take a look and show you what happened to the Team Chimera driver coming down into the first corner. Starting this race from far up the grid, and oh boy, a lot of netco contact and sent that car face first into the fence. It looked like Andrew Aitken netcoated into the side, and from there was nothing that Cameron Dance could have done to avoid that. That is a tough break. I mean, look at how much space there was in between these cars. 3 wide down into turn 1. And man, that is a lick that he took into the outside wall. Coming back one more time. Ouch. It's right on board with Cameron Dance. He was right behind this mess, and I mean, just nothing he could have done. Could not react at all. On board with Wilson. And I want to kind of take a look. We're going to slow this way down. Look at how much space there is. I mean, they never touched. They never touched, and that is just unfortunate there for Jamie Wilson. A hard, hard lick into the outside wall. Lucas LaVille can thank his lucky stars. He just barely got around that, or, sorry, no, that was Robert Groscher that nearly got around that mess. That just got around that mess. One of the Vortex Sim Racing drivers having a lucky break there. So, we go from a double file race start to what will end up being a single file restart, and we didn't even make it through one corner before we got our first yellow flag of the night. Jan Hoffman, you see, flickering a little bit, able to get himself back into contention. There you see the lights go out aboard the iRacing pace car. So we'll be green flag racing once again, this time by. We shouldn't be seeing any more drivers going 3 wide down in the turn number 1. It's a little difficult to do when you go single file like this, but that's a tough way to start a race. A caution right out of the gate, and didn't even make it to the back straightaway. This field hoping for better this afternoon. That's how these oval races tend to go, though. It's a bit of a rough start, but once the field gets into a little bit of a rhythm, you can just take off and have some monumentally long runs. So what we thought was a one-car spin ends up being a two-car melee 3 if you count Andrew Aitken with that contact. 3 flags up in the air. We are back to it. At the Magic Mile, Ethan Aitken drives away down in the turn number 1. Andrew Aitken alongside, trying to pull clear for the second spot. And number 2 on the day. Couldn't make it further again. This time it's Marshall Stanley going into the outside wall. He's got a lot of damage to the rear wing of his machine. That will be forcing Stanley into pit road. Down in the turn number 1. Oh, again, more netcode contact. That time with the 80 of Rafael Rodriguez. That unsettled Stanley, spun him around. Oh, he backed into the wall. Oh, boy. Up on 2 wheels, nearly went over in turn 2. That was Rafael Rodriguez again to the inside, and that just unsettled the 25. Around he goes. Wild wreck up on 2 wheels, able to just barely recover. Let's ride on board with Rodriguez. Again, never touched him. Got close, but never, ever touched that car. And let's ride on board with Marshall Stanley. Stanley in pit road getting damage repairs. He's not the only one into the pits. How about Jack Turner? Turner down in the pit road early on. 4-second pit stop, so going to top up on the fuel numbers. Lights will go out. We'll restart this race for lap 9. Second yellow flag, and we still have yet to make it a lap. Again, last race we had here had a total of 7 caution flags. There were 17 runners in that race, just like there was today. Only 5 finished on the lead lap, and only 11 finished overall. Logan Simmons, Jonathan Diggs, Jamie Wilson, Andrew Wood, Joshua Chin, T.M. Hauser were all knocked out of that race. LaVille did win that race. He is not present, though, this afternoon. Grosser was the runner-up for Vortex Sim Racing 1-2-3 with Jan Hoffman rounding out the mark. Ethan Aitken finished that race 1 lap down in 7th. So far, he's led every lap today, and he has started from pole. Could be a good show. We're back to racing, and this time, hopefully, for longer than about half a straightaway. Andrew Aitken just behind. Trying to stay out in front, but there's Cameron Dance and Logan Simmons going at it side by side of the scramble down towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Pushing up from the bottom, Cameron Dance towards the outside wall. Side by side for third. We have finally completed a full green flag lap, and Logan Simmons steals the number 3 spot away from Cameron Dance. A good move there coming around throughout the whole lap. And now we got more side-by-side behind. Franz Josef Stum and VJO duking it out. They're going 2 abreast. They'll single file it out as they rip through turn numbers 3 and 4. VJO, of course, coming off of a birthday celebration over the last couple weeks. The iconic motorsports driver looking to have a good day. Marshall Stanley thinking about leaving pit road. And as I say that, he is going to once again take that car behind the wall. So looking like he thought the damage was repaired. It evidently was not. You look with Shoemake and Hoffman. Nose-to-tail battle for the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th positions, all under a blanket right now as this pack thunders through turn numbers 3 and 4 to the front stretch. Finally getting that green flag run that we were hoping for, and now we're hoping that that run will stay the way it is. There you go, riding on board with Jan Hoffman for the number 7 spot down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. Really looking to chase after Randy Shoemake, but so far not able to do too much with that look. Oh, we got one around. Logan Simmons sideways on the backstretch. He's found the inside wall. No caution, though. We'll keep it green, and he is doing a good job waiting until the whole field goes by so we can safely pull onto the racetrack. That will not bring out a caution. Applause to Logan Simmons, the iconic motorsports driver, for taking steps to ensure we did not get our 3rd yellow of the night. And he is going to be looking to take that car into pit road, this time by. Might be looking to get some damage repairs. Side by side, meanwhile, between Jan Hoffman and Randy Shoemake. We'll take a look at what happened to Simmons in a moment. But right now, battle is on for the top 5. Hoffman is through. VJO trying to attack as well, and Randy Shoemake dropping spots fast. He is down to 7th. Franz Josef Stum looking to put him under fire. How about VJO shooting to the inside of Hoffman, and Hoffman gets turned now. Hoffman slides around. The field misses him, and we got caution number 3 at lap 17. Looking like perhaps a little bit of over-aggression there from VJO. We'll take a look at that in a moment. This is what happened to Logan Simmons on the backstretch. Just lost the back end, and we did find the inside wall. That's a pretty hard hit into the inside fence. Take a ride on board. This will be a hard lick. Now looking like it may have damaged the left front something fierce. Now let's take a look on what happened to Jan Hoffman here. So VJO just got around Randy Shoemake on the backstretch and just sent it. Oh my gosh, again, more netcode contact. I'm going to apologize to VJO. He never touched him. Jan Hoffman goes for a spin. And tell you what, the field did a great job to miss him there. That should have been a lot worse than it ended up being. Yeah, never touched him. Not at all. And then, holy cow. Tell you what, that's not a good feeling when you find yourself stopped sideways in the middle of the racetrack. Just around he goes, and yikes! Louis Zambelli just barely finding his way around that. Take a ride on board with Zambelli here. Side by side battle that the driver sees the spinner, and whoa! Just barely missed him. So a wild ride for sure. Let's ride on board with Rafael Rodriguez. He had to scramble around this to get around him on the outside. Barely missed a beat, and that's when the yellow flag flew. So 3 cautions, 1 on lap 1, 1 on lap 5, and now 1 on lap 17. Racking them up early. It's a very difficult racetrack. And we've got Rafael Rodriguez coming down to pit road. Marshall Stanley still in the pits. Logan Simmons coming down as well from behind. Logan Simmons is now down 4 laps after taking a big hit into the inside wall, and oh boy, careful on pit exit there. That was a little bit of a close one, and Simmons going to just take the free free fuel up there while we got this yellow flag. Take a look at that pit exit with Rodriguez here. It's only 2-second stop, and oh boy, he is really lucky that there were still some iframes in play there, or that could have been a nasty pit road incident that we could have taken 2 more drivers out of the race. Coming up on Green Flag TV, the OMSRL Cup Series swings down to the Michigan International Speedway for their 7th round of competition at 8:45 p.m. The Beer League, they are midway through their season. They'll be having an exhibition race. That'll be down at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Aussie Oval Pursuit. Bunch of different cars. Slower cars will get some head starts, and we'll see if the fast cars can run them down. That'll be a fun night at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, for the 6th round of competition, the Speed Cup Series, after a wild drive from Michigan, they'll be taking it down to Florida. The Sunshine State and the World Center of Racing hosts round number 6 of the Thursday Night Cup Series. The championship still as tight as ever. Coming to the end of yellow flag number 3. The iRacing pace car will look to make that dive at a pit road this time by green flag is up in the air, and we are underway. Ethan Hagen hightailing it down through turn numbers 3 and 4. A little bit of a position swap further in the field for 11th as Rafael Rodriguez got around Rob Barnicow. You got a whole bunch of them under a blanket coming off of turn number 4, headed up by Randy Schumann. You got Franz Josef Stoom, Luis Zambelli, Johnny Garrett, Jan Hoffman, Jack Turner into pit road. Has Turner got himself a penalty for a restart violation? So as this pack continues on, let's take a look at that restart. Did Jack Turner? Oh, you know what? They may have deemed him jumping the start. He wasn't down to pace speed when the green flag fell. That may have been what happened. They may have called that a jump start from Zambelli on the restart, which is unfortunate. Ethan Hagen, last time by, putting down the fastest lap of the race, a 22.66. He is on the move right now. Further behind, you got a battle between Robert Groscher and VJO. This is for the 4th and 5th place spots. Groscher might be looking a little nervous considering VJO made neck code contact with one of his teammates to spin him out. Lucky that wasn't a worse incident. But they're tucked up right nose to tail through turn numbers 1 and 2, and VJO is looking for the inside. And he's going to make the move down to the turn number 3. VJO taking this one in down low, and he will clear from Robert Groscher. Or will he? Robert Groscher getting the drive in, round the outside, trying to pick off the Iconic Motorsports driver. Can't get it done though. VJO is into the top 4. Meanwhile, Randy Shoemake still leading the pair of Stoom, Zambelli, Garrett, Hoffman. A 5-car grudge match off of turn 4. Whoa, look out! Round goes Johnny Garrett, hard crash! Johnny Garrett up and over, a big flip into the fence. Zambelli's involved, he's out of it. An absolutely monstrous accident coming off of turn number 4. That started when Zambelli got turned sideways. That was one of the most violent wrecks we have seen all year. Take a look as Zambelli spun around and Johnny Garrett just launched over directly into the fence, a la the Worldwide Technology Raceway when Franz Josef Stoom went for a ride. Slam back down to earth. There you see, I think that was Rafael Rodriguez getting through there after clobbering Zambelli. Violent wreck on the front straightaway. Take another look, and golly! That was one of the Vortex sim racing cars that got a big piece of that as well. I mean, you take a look at that huge impact, and it is unbelievable. Take one more look. We'll slow this down. Look at the height that he gets. Clears Zambelli's car and slams into the fence. Goes for a wild tumble down the front straightaway. Multiple cars at the pit road. Ethan Hagen, Jan Hoffman, VJO, Rafael Rodriguez are all in. Bill Colley came down. Barnacow came down. Andrew Aiken picks up the race lead. Let's take another look back at this one. Let's ride on board here with Zambelli. Just barely saw it out of shot, and they see him. Oh, man. Just nowhere for Rodriguez to go. On board. This is the big one. Oh. You just see him get nailed. And that was Jan Hoffman that managed to escape with minimal damage. Take a ride on with him. Holy cow! You are kidding me! No way! Absolutely no way. I mean, look at that. Slow that down one more time, and let's take a ride. So Garrett goes airborne. He runs over the front wing, slams into the fence for Garrett, and watch this. That car, oh my word. I don't think he touched a thing. He didn't. He got through that unscathed. You are kidding me. Jan Hoffman with a wild save to get around that. You are joking right now. So Bill Colley down into pit road as well. He'll be looking to come down for a little bit of extra fuel. Looking like we're going to go to green flag racing this time by. We'll try to get one more look at this incident from the trackside cameras. I cannot understand how violent of a hit that is into the fence. We'll look to go back to green flag this time by on lap number 33. I'm still in shock, and I'm sure Jan Hoffman doesn't even know how he managed to get around that unscathed. That has got to be one of the most brilliant pieces of wreck avoidances I have ever seen in my 8 or so years of commentating races on iRacing, or 6 years of calling races on iRacing. Green flag is back in the air on lap 34. We are back to it. Andrew Aiken once again pulling clear. Rob Barnacow losing out a spot to Ethan Hagen deeper in the field. Aitken, meanwhile, trying to fend off a charging Cameron Dance. Dance looking for the inside as they go through 3 and 4 for the lead. Can't pull off the pass, but there was an effort. Ethan Hagen, meanwhile, wants to cut his way back to the field to the front. He gets around Franz Josef Stum to the inside of 1 and 2. So Ethan Hagen on the move. He is up to the top 5. Once again, trying to see if he can close up to Randy Shoemake. Shoemake seeing if he can't fend off a charging Iconic Motorsports driver. You saw him look for the inside that time. Ethan Hagen is not content to sit and wait. Where does he look to make this move onto the Aero X driver up the road? Does he make it here 1 and 2? Oh, he's going to try for it. To the inside. Did he down the back straightaway? And Ethan Hagen is through. Good show there for Hagen to get around the Aero X car. Looking to size up a move now on Robert Groscher to fight his way back onto a podium. He lost this earlier on, but he came down to pit road. That was on lap 30 under that absolutely monstrous crash, and now he is absolutely charging. To the back of Robert Groscher. When does the move come into play? He's looking down the back straightaway. He's there into turn number 3. Ethan Hagen screams onto the podium once again. Behind, meanwhile, Rob Barnicow, VJO going at it. They're side by side on the mat scramble through 1 and 2. Trying for it at least. VJO couldn't get to the inside of Barnicow. Franz Josef Stum was up the road trying to make something happen. And we also just had the pass for 4th. We'll look at that in a minute, but VJO getting around Rob Barnicow. Good overtake there, put VJO up to 7th. And this was the battle for 4th place. Randy Shoemake. Oh boy, I was mistaken. I thought he got around Robert Groscher and Groscher got him back, but no, Groscher just blinked out for a moment. Could get him here though. Shoemake to the inside of 1 and 2. Is this enough to go for the lunge? Not quite. Robert Groscher pulls out the gap. Behind, VJO trying to get back into the 6th spot. They're in a dead heat down to turn number 1. And can Iconic Motorsports clear? They cannot. Tell you what, these Aero X drivers are having a good time fending off all of these attacks from so many different Iconic Motorsports drivers. Franz Josef Stum, the one that's on the outside. They've been side by side for about 3 laps now, and neither driver can settle on who should be where. Looking like this one finally goes the way of VJO. Franz Josef Stum way up the racetrack behind, lets Rob Barnicow close in just a tick more. Up front, the battle is on for 2nd. Andrew Aitken starting to pull away. While Ethan Hagen wants to get around Cameron Dance on an effort to retake the points lead. Cameron Dance still fighting it out with Ethan Hagen down in the turn numbers 3 and 4. And as they work down the front stretch, does Hagen make the look? No, not quite yet. You can tell, though, that he is gunning for it, though. He is not content with riding around in 3rd. He wants his lead, and he wants it back now. Peeking to the inside. Can he get the run down the front stretch? Still got the front wing just barely in there. Dance can't get to the bottom. Still, they go side by side. Neither driver able to pull out an advantage. Ethan Hagen, can he take this one? Dance up the racetrack. They nearly make contact. Behind them, Robert Groscher and Randy Shoemaker having a huge scrap of their own. They've been going back and forth for the 4th place spot for some time as well. We're about to cross over the 1/4 mark of this race. Randy Shoemake breaks clear of the number 9, so Shoemake puts his Aero X machine up to 4th. VJO behind, running in 6th. Randy Shoemake now looking to pull away, and he's got some help as Iconic Motorsports attacking Vortex Sim Racing. And can VJO clear? Oh, yes, he does. VJO is now back into the top 5. Up front, it's Dance v. Agan. These two drivers have not been able to break away from each other. Unstoppable force meeting immovable object. So while the battle for second rages on, the fight for 7th is hot as well. Jan Hoff and Franz Josef Stum started to go side by side. They've been side by side for about a lap and a half. Jan Hoffen taking away that spot from the bottom lane. Stum way up to the top. And the 05 Vortex Sim Racing car hugging that inside line. Stum way up to the wall and into the high groove. And that'll give the spot to Hoffman pretty easily. And Stum has to course correct to avoid slamming into the wall. Up the road, Ethan Agan once again looking low on Cameron Dance. Could we see the move being made? Trying to take that spot away down the front stretch and in towards turn number 1. Dance still pulling clear by the littlest of margins. Oh, Agan's got a good run through 2. Fights on for second, is going to look low. Can't get to him though. So still Cameron Dance hangs on for the number 2 spot. Tell you what, this is an epic dogfight, though, from Cameron Dance and Ethan Agan. And we're going to see Iconic Motorsports once again look back to the low side of Orbit Motorsports. Double file as they come off of turn number 4, and still Dance pulls the outside. Cameron Dance just has, Ethan Agan, sorry, just has no answer for Cameron Dance. Ethan Agan is so strong on trying to get a run going around the inside, but Dance is just so strong in pulling the outside line. It makes passing here a significant challenge. This time, though, Agan altering his approach, going bottom then high to try to get a run off of what little banking there is off the top side. If he can pull directly alongside and be wing to wing, by the time they get into one of these corners, he should be able to get clear. He's going to try again. Dance still pulling, though, around the high lane, and I don't think Dance is... Oh, he might! Agan, can he hang on? Cameron Dance fighting back around the top, and still Dance holds on to second. Thought Agan had it there. He thought he had it. But Cameron Dance continues to rip the top lane to keep Ethan Agan behind. And all of this while they are losing a lot of time. Andrew Aitken now clear by 4.7 seconds up the road. Franz Josef Steelman, Rob Barnicow looking for 8th and 9th in their own little battle pack as they work down into turn numbers 1 and 2. A hard-fought race so far for the 8th and 9th place runners. Cameron Dance and Ethan Agan still locked in a heads-up grudge match as they run it down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. Start to wonder if this is going to be a battle that'll go right down to the pit stops. That may very well be the case. Seen a little bit of damage on the back of Cameron Dance's rear wing and a bit of scuffed paint as well on the front nose of Ethan Agan's car. It does make you wonder if perhaps they may have made a little bit of contact, but so far, not seeing anything impeding this battle. Could very well be a bug as well with the amount of Netco we've seen this afternoon. Logan Simmons into the pit wall. Logan Simmons with big problems. He has just crashed in pit road. That's a weird one. Let's take a ride on board with Logan Simmons here. He's looking to come down to the pits and yeah, he just knows that thing into the wall. Interesting call on that one. Meanwhile, Cameron Dance and Ethan Hagen going side by side still. Well, trying to go side by side at least as they cannot break away from each other. I mean, this is by far one of the longest and closest battles that we have seen so far all race long. The frustrating thing is they're pulling away from VJO behind, but they're still losing out to Andrew Aitken up the road as well. And just neither driver can get around the other. I mean, you take a look at Aitken here. I mean, they're losing about a tenth and a half every lap pretty consistently. We'll see what the gap will be this time by at the stripe. 23.13 for Aitken, and for Cameron Dance, oh, they lost another half a hundredth, or half a tenth. So they're trying, but I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to reel this gap in. They got to hope for another caution where they could both try to pounce on Aitken. But now that we're in that long green flag run, have we seen the last of the caution flags? Historically at the ovals, you get a big caution string early on. That's what happened in last year's race as well. And then it just tends to kind of get some long green flag runs going. I think we have one or two more come in quick succession in the second half of the race in that 2020 race as well. But for now, this field running strong. Now I think the big question is, where is that first run of pit stops? Battle further down in the field. Rob Barnicow and Franz Josef Stum looking to exchange hands for 8th and 9th. And this is way down the field. They're only just barely clinging on to the lead lap as it stands. I mean, here are, this is 8th and 9th right here. And just behind there's Andrew Aitken coming into pit road. So your race leader comes down to the lane. Meanwhile, Aitken to the inside of Dance. Dance almost gets into the wall. Ethan Aitken dive bombs Cameron Dance, slides across the nose. Dance way up to the outside wall in turn 2. Andrew Aitken still in the pits. Going to lose a lap here for sure right now. They're battling for the on-track race lead, but definitely not the net race lead. And somehow Dance continues to pull the outside line. This battle has been fantastic to watch all race long. And it's nowhere near over yet either. There's Andrew Aitken just leaving pit road behind. Going down a lap. He'll get that lap back, though, once the other folks here come down to pit road. For Andrew Aitken, that was his first pit stop of the day, so it's going to be a little bit yet before we see everybody else come down to the lane. Battle continues to rage on. Other fights throughout the field. You really only got Rob Barnicow and Franz Josef Stum. They got about half a second between them right now. And this is for the 7th place spot as they come around through turn numbers 1 and 2 to the back straightaway. Take a look at kind of what the margins have been over the last few laps. And well, again, Barnicow been pulling out a pretty sizable margin, about a 10th or so every lap from Franz Josef Stum. So it looks like Stum may have burned his stuff up. Another 10th gain that last time by. Once again, this is the last oval we'll be seeing all the way until October. So for about 2 months, it's going to be only road courses. 2 weeks from now, to kick off the month of September, it'll be the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for a 69-lap run, replicating the Molson Indy Montreal race from 2004. The race being replicated for 2006 will take place 3 weeks later with an extra off week for week 13. That'll be on September 22nd. That will be, of course, down at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Road America plays host to what will be no doubt a thrilling 51 laps of racing action. And then 2 weeks from then, we flash back to the 60s, to the Temple of Speed itself. The Fuji International Speedway will play host to a 76-lap run to start off October. Boy, Jack Turner having a big problem there, coming off the corner. And then, of course, Rafael Rodriguez just made the pass on Franz Josef Stum for 8th as well. There you see the pass for that 8th spot. And meanwhile, Jack Turner way low on the racetrack. What's going on here? Whoa, boy, sideways through turn numbers 3 and 4. Great save from a returning driver. Didn't overreact, just kept that wheel straight, let the car correct itself, and called it a job done. Right now, 9 cars remain on the lead lap, and this, believe, could be net 10 on the lead lap. Here comes Cameron Dance in a pit road. So Dance locking it down. See Logan Simmons in pit road. Other drivers like Johnny Garrett and Marshall Stanley still in pit road. There you see Randy Shoemake in a pit road just behind as well. So I think that pit stop window is open now. Franz Josef Stum is in behind for AeroX. So 2 of the AeroX cars and 1 of the Orbit Motorsports cars are in. And further behind, we got Robert Groscher. So Vortex Sim Racing starting to come down as well. So now the big question is, when will Ethan Agan come down? Agan's still out on the racetrack, so is VJO. Jan Hoffman doesn't look like he's going to be eager to come down this time by. Same story for Rob Barnicow and for Rafael Rodriguez. And there you see Andrew Aitken slowly but surely climbing his way back through the order as drivers come down to pit road one by one. Ethan Agan still staying out. He's going to stretch this stint out long. Rob Barnicow was in the his pit box for 13 seconds, so a long stop there for Barnicow. And he is under fire by Rafael Rodriguez. Rodriguez is going to get around him to the inside. The PDS Racing driver to California making a pretty easy overtake there to get around the AeroX runner of Barnicow. Barnicow didn't really fight that one too hard. So 5 cars are still on the lead lap. And all 5 are still yet to pit under green flag conditions. Randy Shoemake getting around Bill Cawley for a spot. Shoemake, of course, running on those fresh tires, and we can take this time to take a look and show just how big the difference is from fresh to old tires. I mean, that's how easy it is to get around the outside. Now, granted, Bill Cawley, again, was already going a lap down. He's in the pit road this time by as well. So I feel like Cawley is more just looking to run a clean race, not trying to get in the way. It looked like he was maybe running about a third throttle throughout that whole corner. So the rookie making his debut is going to be down into pit road for his stop, 10 laps shy of the halfway point. This race really settling into a rhythm now, and this is the rhythm that we were hoping to see these guys finally settling into. Throughout the duration of this race, we were expecting them to settle into this a little bit earlier, but hey, better late than never. Rob Barnicow gaining a ton on Rafael Rodriguez, coming around through turns 3 and 4 that last time by. Closing in the gap by a fairly sizable margin. Randy Shoemake, having already made his pit stop, he is trying to unlap himself from Rodriguez. Wanted to look to get through to keep from being held up too much. He'll get to the inside off of turn 2, down the backstretch, but not able to make a successful run coming through 3 and 4 that last time by. In a pack this thick, a caution is never too far away, especially with all the netcode issues that we've been seeing throughout the course of the night. And Shoemake round the long way, unlaps himself at last from Rodriguez. Or does he? He's going to have to work for one more corner. Now he's got the job done. Here comes Rob Barnicow. Oh boy, Ethan Agan scrambling to the inside. That's a race leader trying to put these guys a lap down, and he nearly gets into the back of Barnicow. Rodriguez way up the racetrack, 3 wide, looking for 4 down the back straightaway. And a close shave. They're able to just barely keep it out of each other. Going in for the halfway point this time by. Boy, that got intense there for a while, and Hagan's not done yet. He is still trying to get around that number 12 machine. I don't know why he isn't coming down to pit road, honestly. Now would be a great time to do it. You're caught in traffic, you're being held up. There's no point in really staying out there. Robert Grosh going to get around him, and there goes Rob Barnicow, dropping back, and he looks like he's coming to pit road as Rafael Rodriguez gets through. Take a look at this. I mean, Agan almost goes right into the side, and then onto the back straightaway. They nearly come together. Barnicow was kind of all over the shot, wasn't sure where to go. And the fact that was not a yellow flag is nothing short of a minor miracle. As predicted, Barnicow comes down to pit road for the first time tonight. Well, really the second time tonight, but the first time under green. The last time he pitted on lap 18 under caution. I believe that would have been under caution flag number 3 of the night. Ethan Hagan, now one of the last drivers standing on the racetrack that is yet to stop. He and everyone within the top 4. 100 down, 100 to go. Might be looking to stretch this out, try to make this a one-stop race. More a two-stop race if he can stretch this tank out enough. Again, we did see Andrew Aitken go all the way to lap 72 before he had to come down to pit, and that was with the help of quite a few yellow flags to help him save some fuel as well under that caution period. So Aitken going to be looking to go a little bit further. So with this race continuing to escalate, let's, well, as I say that, there's the caution he was hoping for. Yellow flag, and it's Barnacow that has gone hard into the wall. So we lose yet another driver, and we get our 5th caution of the day, the Aero X number 12, going to just lose the back end here. Coming off of turn 4, and hard lick into the inside wall. Goes for a high-speed pirouette, and that does force a yellow flag. At real speed, just a vicious snap into the inside wall, but that's all it takes. So this should, I thought it would bring Ethan Aitken down. Aitken is staying out with VJO and Jan Hoffman's coming in, but Rafael Rodriguez staying out as well. I'm not sure about this strategy, but who knows what will happen. We'll see how this race could pan out further down the line. For now, I want to give a big shout out to Pavement Recycling Systems for sponsoring the Pavement Recycling Systems 200 and for several races throughout the Classic IndyCar Series. Founded in 1989, PRS first provided cold milling services to the Southern California market. Now, PRS has subsequently grown into the premier general engineering subcontractor for cold milling, soil stabilization, roller compacted concrete, and cold in-place asphalt recycling in California and Nevada, with a presence in Utah, Oregon, and Washington. In 2007, PRS added the highly regarded Pavement Preservation Company. Pavement Coatings Company, PCC, added pavement preservation services throughout California and specializing in the use of RAP aggregates via their Reclaimed Aggregates division. Both PRS and PCC are owned by PRS Holdings Incorporated and are proud to be 100% employee-owned. For more, visit pavementrecycling.com. Here comes VJO and Ethan Aitken into pit road, and we are under caution for the 5th time this afternoon. So we're going to take ourselves with a step back. When we return, it is more racing action from the Magic Mile.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Classic IndyCar Series, just getting set to come back to green flag racing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. We're past the halfway point, 94 laps remain. And it'll be in the hands of Jan Hoffman, who will come off of turn numbers 3 and 4 to the front straightaway. Green flag is in the air, and we're back to racing. So Jan Hoffman now takes over the race lead. Ethan Hagen down in second, VJO third, Aitken fourth, Dances fifth, Randy Shoemake the last car on the lead lap. Also battled it out is, of course, going to be Robert Groscher and Rafael Rodriguez. They're scrapping for seventh spot. And at this point, that's just about the best they can hope for unless there's more trouble from the lead lap runners. Got the fight on for the lead. Ethan Hagen looking to finally take that one back. And Hagen is through. So Ethan Hagen finally retakes the race lead after he pitted on lap 30. Was caught in such a battle with Cameron Dance, and now Dance just absolutely nowhere. Ethan Hagen the last time by, again, fastest lap, 22.66. Here is Robert Groscher and Robert Rodriguez going alongside with Andrew Aitken. Contact! Groscher muscled up the racetrack a little bit with some netco contact there from Andrew Aitken. Aitken forces his way by. And Rafael Rodriguez will hang on to the number 8 spot. Hagen and Hoffman looking to go at it. 1-2 on the racetrack. A quarter of a second separated the pair as Ethan Hagen and Jan Hoffman going to be looking to take this one away. Firing down the front straightaway as they'll look to drag it down to turns 1 and 2. The Vortex Sim Racing number 05 and Ethan Hagen still out there with the lead by about 0.3 of a second. Hoffman still looking to close, but Ethan Hagen, with all that fresh rubber that he picked up on pit road, is starting to pull away. Hoffman came down a lap sooner to pit than Hagen did. But both drivers did pit under the yellow flag, so their tires relatively about the same amount of tread and wear. Right now, a bigger battle, Robert Groscher and Rafael Rodriguez. They got Cameron Dance just in front, and that might be slowing Groscher up just a touch here. As Dan's looking to be a bit more conservative off of the restart here. Rodriguez. Looking set to take it down for turn numbers 3 and 4. Closing the gap in, still hovering at about 0.2 of a second. And the last few laps has been a bit quicker than Robert Groscher. But I think now he's really hit that wall that we talk about so much in oval racing with these cars. You can draft up there all you want, but as soon as you actually get there, you can't take the run anywhere. Last time by, you see it perfectly right there. I mean, closing in so much, and then all of a sudden just stalls, and now he's actually losing time. As Jan Hoffman starts to drop off of Ethan Hagen, you can see VJO started to reel him in as well. So this could be a pretty big one. The Finnish native looking set to see if he can fight his way into a spot a little bit further up the road. Currently runs in that number 3 spot, but he can taste second, and he can see victory just ahead. Still a long way to go, though. Over 80 laps still remaining. Hagen still started to pull clear. Rob Barnicow coming down to pit road. He did leave pit road briefly But unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's been able to get something that satisfies him with that car, so he's going to be coming back down the pit road. Barnicow was the reason for the latest caution, and it was because of this moment coming off of turn number 4. Taking a vicious whack into the inside wall that absolutely ruined that race car. It's a shame. He had a good shot at going for a top 5 with some great points on the boards. And VJO has caught Hoffman. He's going to look for the inside, try to see if he can't get around Hoffman for the number 2 spot. So VJO and Hoffman going at it side by side down the back straightaway, and VJO is through as they cross the start finish line. Got the run going off of turn number 4. Sized Hoffman up and took away that the second place down to the turn number 1. Now his next goal, close in on Ethan Agan, 1.75 seconds up the road. VJO's been charging. We know that car's got pace, but does he have the pace to catch up to a driver that has been so dominant and so controlling throughout so much of the season? Ethan Agan hanging on for now. Drives up to the outside wall on the back straightaway. How about that? VJO actually gained almost a 10.5 on the last lap by. See if it'll be the same this time through at the stripe. And it's not. Lost by 0.08 of a second. So Ethan Agan finding some of that rhythm again and now trying to drive away with that race lead. Still a long way to go though. Meanwhile, Robert Groscher embroiled in a little fist fight with Rafael Rodriguez, who once again, slowly but surely, reeling in the gap. Half a second stands between the 9 and the 80. And drivers looking like they might be looking to try to manage some of those tires a bit more, trying to see if they can stretch these runs at the end, at least for those that pitted past the halfway mark. For drivers like Andrew Aitken, Cameron Dance, Randy Shoemake, Robert Groscher, I feel like they're going to be going for a little bit longer. We'll try to get some hard fuel numbers that could be a give or tell sign as to how this race is going to be panning out throughout the course of this one. But boy, what a great race this has been so far this afternoon. This has been absolutely thrilling all throughout. And here we go. Rafael Rodriguez has caught the back of Robert Groscher. But even more importantly, up the road, Andrew Aitken to the inside. Jan Hoffman drifts across the nose. Can Hoffman get him back for third? Doesn't look like it. So Andrew Aitken making the move down into turn number 3 to get around Jan Hoffman. Hoffman just tracked up too wide and couldn't fight him off at the exit of turn number 2. Great move there for Andrew Aitken. And then meanwhile, Rafael Rodriguez having this slugfest with Robert Groscher. To the inside, Robert Groscher pulled around the outside. And in fact, they're still battling side by side. Robert Groscher hanging on, but Rodriguez is showing no signs of slowing down his offensive. You know for a fact that he's going to be looking to take that spot away come hell or high water. He knows that 7th place is about the best he can hope for without another caution, so he is wanting to take that spot away as much as possible. Downshifting all the way into 4th to get an extra bit of boost down the front straight. Usually drivers are shifting through 5th and 6th, but Rodriguez taking the 4th and 5th approach. Looked for the inside, couldn't get it done. And Robert Groscher doing the same, 4th and 5th, not going for 5th and 6th. And just like that, Rafael Rodriguez loses about half a second because of a botched line through turn 2. Cameron Dance and Jan Hoffman are going at it. Randy Shoemake comes down to pit road, and this should be for his final stop of the day. This will be enough to get him to the end of the race. So instead of running his tank out dry, Shoemake wants to come down early and then claw his way back through the order. Might be gambling to try and get a little bit of clean air as well. That could be a big factor. If Shoemake can get out there with some clean air, then he doesn't have to worry about racing everybody else around him. So Groscher going at it along with Rafael Rodriguez behind, and Rodriguez seeing what he can do, and he managed to catch up just nicely. He's wisened up though. He did not take that one to the inside of Robert Groscher. It was tempting. I would have gone for the move myself, but that's why I'm not much of a long race runner. I'm definitely more of a sprint racer myself. But Rodriguez, he's playing the long game here. He's caught up to Robert Groscher. You know, it might not be a bad idea to try to save a little bit of fuel with what little tow you can get with these cars down the front straightaway. Just behind them, you've got Jack Turner. Turner having a good night himself. He is up 8 positions, the second most out of anybody today, and he is running into a solid top 10. Now, granted, all but 2 of his competitors have crashed out of the race that he's gotten around, but hey, if you want to get good points, you got to keep the nose clean, and credit to Turner, he has been doing a good job of that all day today. He had a little bit of a close call earlier in the race. That near miss comes from when he came off of turn number 4 and got a little bit crossed up on the apron, nearly spun that car around. Did a good job, though, in hanging on. He now runs behind this Groscher and Rodriguez duel. VGO and Andrew Aitken still within 3/4 of a second of each other further up the road in the battle for the number 2 spot. And Ethan Aitken is way up the road by about 1.6 seconds. The gap isn't changing much. I mean, it's pretty evenly matched right now for the Iconic Motorsports drivers. VGO sometimes gains a little, sometimes loses a little. Same for Ethan Aitken. So no driver is particularly better than the other at this point in time. I think they're both just running conservatively, looking to try and make sure that they can actually be there to fight for this race at the end. Battle is on. Rafael Rodriguez tried to make a look on the inside of Robert Groscher, and it didn't quite happen unless this came from another blink out from Robert Groscher up the racetrack. Andrew Aitken comes down to pit road for the final time today, and he's going to take Bill Colley with him. So the rookie making his debut is in, along with one of the series regulars. So Robert Groscher now will come down to pit road. He is also looking to bail out, and this could be the opportunity that that Rafael Rodriguez was hoping for. Rodriguez was running right behind Groscher for some time. Now the big question is, can the 80 car get out in front of Groscher? So he's definitely going for the overcut strategy. Groscher coming down for the undercut strategy. And this is just as we are starting to enter the final quarter of this race as well. 50 laps to go next time by. Robert Groscher, fresh out of pit road, setting the fastest lap right in the draft of VJO last time by, 22.63. That's about 0.03 of a second quicker than Ethan Aiken's fastest lap at the head of the field in clean air. So Groscher's got some speed underneath him here as we cross over the 50 lap to go mark. That's second place that Groscher's unlapping himself from. And there you see the race leader just up the road, lapping one of the Aero X drivers. That's Franz Josef Stum. So Ethan Aiken is looking set to see what he can do up in the race lead. He's now clear by 2 seconds over VJO, so he has continued to extend that gap. But the question now, I think, is will Robert Groscher unlap himself to put him only 2 laps down? That could be pretty impactful if this race goes green to the end. It could be a deciding factor on who wins. It is a little grudge match between himself and Rafael Rodriguez, who is right now on the opposite end of the racetrack. .8 of a second between Rodriguez and Andrew Aitken. Aitken seeing if he can't make a rumble here with a closing in on Rafael Rodriguez. Aitken, of course, pitted about 10-15 laps ago, so he's been closing in pretty rapidly on Rodriguez with all that fresh rubber throughout the last little while. Cameron Dance comes down to pit road from third. And here goes Andrew Aitken looking to get around Rafael Rodriguez. Well, Rodriguez pulling the gap on the outside. Now looking to let Andrew Aitken in front, but he's going to have no choice. Aitken sweeps clear of him pretty easily on all those fresh Firestones. So Andrew Aitken puts himself now back up into the top 5. And the top 4 up the road still have yet to pit. Top 3, sorry. Cameron Dance just fresh out of pit road. And here comes Aitken behind with a big head of steam. So Ethan Agan runs up there with the race lead. Just behind them, you got Andrew Aitken, Rafael Rodriguez, and more still all under fire. And all of this with just 40 laps left to run. Checking in once again on VJO's progress as he continues the long haul of trying to run down Ethan Agan. Yeah, he has closed in. It's under a second and a half now, so there is potential still. Gained a tenth of a second the last time by. I feel like Agan, having Robert Groscher just in front of him, because Groscher did just unlap himself, is not helping that number 6 car. And we'll take a look this time by, but that's a pretty significant gain again. 1.33 down to 1.24 at the line, and officially 0.06 of a second quicker. The race continues on. 137 laps ago. I don't know where he got the 100 from. But you can tell this field is really starting to settle quite a bit into their rhythm. I'm not anticipating to see any big issues from here to the end of this race. So this looks like this is about where we're going to be situated throughout the course of the afternoon. Once again, want to thank Pavement Recycling Systems for taking the time to sponsor the Classic IndyCar Series. And we're going to take ourselves with a step back. When we return, it'll be the last 30 laps and less from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Welcome back to Green Flag TV. The battle for the lead is picking up in earnest as this pack enters the final 25 laps of the race. And so far, the top two still have yet to pit, but Ethan Hagen, his pace has been dropping off quite considerably, and now VJO is right there and ready to pounce. Half a second out. They are the only two cars that remain on the lead lap, and no doubt they are both hoping for a caution right about now, so they can make sure that they can stay 1-2 without having to be at risk of losing their race leads in that 1-2 when this race comes down. But right now, it's an iconic 1-2. Last season it was a Vortex Sim Racing 1-2-3. And here comes Ethan Hagen. He will be down into pit road, and VGO is in just behind. Rafael Rodriguez also coming into pit road, so we'll flash up the track map on the top right of the screen. Now this is going to be the gap between Rodriguez and Robert Grosjean. They were in a battle nose to tail when they came down to pit road, and now Rodriguez out by a country mile in front. Robert Grosjean nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Ethan Hagen dropping out of the race lead. Cameron Dance picks up first. Andrew Aitken picks up second, but here's the catch. They are on about 20 to 30 lap older tires than Ethan Hagen and VJO. So they're out in front for now, but we'll see where this could lead to these drivers further down the line. This is going to be an extremely tight strategy race down to the end. The top three separated by only 2 seconds and a quarter, and Ethan Hagen is going to have a lot of speed if he can just get around some of this lap traffic. Take a look at the pit strategy throughout the course of the race. You see Dance and Hagen were already pretty far off cycle compared to everybody else. Hagen and VJO both pitted on lap 30. Dance and Aitken opted to go late into the runs, stopping at laps 72 and 82 respectively. Then they stopped about 74 and 75 laps later, and now they're on runs to the end, as is everybody else. But meanwhile, there you see Ethan Hagen already getting around Andrew Aitken for second. Hagen's charging. He just set a lap that was 0.4 of a second quicker than Cameron Dance up the road. So this race, a race all about the strategy, and the strategy game coming to life in the closing stages at the Magic Mile. Boy, Ethan Hagen is hauling the mail right now. He is on an absolute flyer. Last lap by a 22.5 to Dance's 23.0. So we are seeing Hagen right now chop away about half a second every lap from Cameron Dance. But again, now he's hit that draft wall. Now we're going to see him get a little bit stalled out. Tell you what, if the caution comes out now, it is going to land this race pretty squarely in the hands of Cameron Dance. Dance entered this race with drop weeks factored in, about 6 points of the good. Ethan Hagen looking to change that. He's going to look to the inside of Ethan Hagen coming down to turn number 1. Battle is on for the lead. Ethan Hagen down to the inside. Franz Josef Stum caught in the middle. We're 3 wide. Down the back straightaway. The fight's on for the lead. Hagen to the bottom side of turn numbers 3 and 4. Dance trying to hang on, but he can't get it done. Ethan Hagen drives back to the point. Cameron Dance trying to fight back, but he just can't do anything about it. Ethan Hagen is settled into the race lead, and now he can start to drive away. Boy, what a wild turn of events at this race. And I mean, this race has just been an absolute thriller from start to finish. No complaints whatsoever. And we'll look set to see how the remainder of this race could very well pan out throughout the last 10 laps or so. Especially now that Ethan Hagen is catching some lap traffic. Could this be Cameron Dance's chance to try and close some of that gap in? Well, not if Hagen's able to pick him off as quickly as he just got around Bill Cawley. Cawley jerks that car to the inside and immediately slows up to get out of Dance's way. Rafael Rodriguez, the next car that Hagen's got to get around, puts Rodriguez 2 laps down, and now it's 9 to go. Once again, if you're looking for some exciting action, look no further than what's coming up on Green Flag TV. The Ole Miss Rail Cup Series swings out to Michigan International Speedway on August the 20th at 8:45 p.m. The Beer League will be having an exhibition race. It'll be an Aussie oval pursuit at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then the Speed Cup Series swings down to the World Center of Racing in the Sunshine State for round number 6 of the championship on August 22nd. This, and then of course, you'll also be having the VSCA Sports Car Championship coming on out for the Virginia Sports Car Grand Prix at the Virginia International Raceway next Saturday on August 24th. Battle is also on in the closing laps between 7th and 8th. Robert Grosh and Rafael Rodriguez are looking like they want to go at it. And meanwhile, Randy Shoemake and Cameron Dance are looking to lap both of them. So you see Robert Grosher struggling to try and get that car moving off of the corner, really trying to keep the PDS Racing number 80 at bay. Grosher out in front, but here comes the Brazilian, looking to make a move. Down to the inside, couldn't get it that time by, but the fight's on with 5 laps to go. Boy, you can tell how much Rodriguez's car is fidgeting. He is fighting that thing, but he is really trying to see if he can get himself with one last position. And he's got the inside of Grosher. He's up to 7th. Looking like that might be it for the number 80. Ethan Hagen with just 3 laps to run. Having a bonkers time of it up there with that run. Tell you what, this has been a stellar drive for Hagen, and he can be proud of himself this afternoon. Started this race on the pole, led pretty much every single lap until lap 30 when he came down to pit. Had to fight his way all the way through this field. And then finally got the luck he needed with some pit strategies coming into this final stint of the race. And now just a lap and a half to go. We'll see him back to victory lane. One lap remaining for Ethan Hagen as he crosses the start-finish line. We have not had a repeat winner throughout the entirety of the season. He's gotten a lot of podiums, but now he can finally say that he is the first repeat winner of the Classic Indycar Series in 2024. Great drive there from Ethan Hagen, able to come home right when it mattered. A tough break, and, well, I'll tell you what, it's shades of deja vu from the first race we had here. 17-car field, just about 7 yellow flags on the day. I believe it ended up being about 5. But out of those 7, only 11 finished this race. And only 5 on the lead lap, so eerily similar to what we saw in 2020 when these guys came here. But now, Agee can burn it down at the Magic Mile as the CIS's first repeat winner of 2024. Great form on those burnouts there. Absolutely stellar stuff from Ethan Agee. Celebrating as he so rightfully deserves to. We'll take a rundown of your official post-race results after a wild one from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Taking a run at this one, of course, Ethan Agee locks out the race win this afternoon as he puts himself in on top with Cameron Dance in second, Andrew Aitken in third, VJO was in fourth, Jan Hoffman rounds out the top 5, the last car on the lead lap. Randy Shumay was 1 lap down with Rafael Rodriguez and Robert Groscher both being 2 down. From there, Franz Josef Stum was 3 down. Jack Turner was 6 down. And Bill Colley was 6 down. Jack Turner was only 4 down. Meanwhile, Rob Barnicow, Logan Simmons, Johnny Garrett, Luis Zambelli, Marshall Stanley, and Jamie Wilson all marked as DNFs this afternoon. What a wild race that we had here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. We'll, of course, get the chance to talk to all of the drivers that come home and lock out the podium finish here this afternoon. And it'll, of course, be first and foremost none other than the man of the hour. Ethan Agee comes home, and he is going to be the first repeat winner of 2024. Ethan, after so many podiums, you finally get that second win that you've been looking for. And with this, factor in the drop weeks, I think this should be enough to propel you back to the top of the points boards. Talk us through the strategy game this afternoon.
Oh, yeah, like, when that one caution came out, it was, I think, 30 laps in, and then if we pitted at that moment, it would have been good for just the still 2-stop if it went green the rest of the way. And then I think what won me the race mostly was that last caution that came out when the other guys pitted, and then 2 or 3 guys did not pit during that time, so that definitely helped my race. But no, it was very fun. It was definitely a bit entertaining when Cameron got in front. I don't know how. But anyways, got the fresh tires and put less fuel in the car and got up to the win.
Overall, it was a strong race for you this afternoon. There was a bit of a caution string in the early runs. I think we had about 3 or 4 within the first 30 laps. How do you adjust from a short blast like that constantly to longer runs that happen to come immediately after?
Yeah, you just gotta stay focused, no matter what. If it's like a short stint or a long stint and a caution comes out, you just gotta stay focused and remain calm and just do what you just been doing. It's just running your line, just do what you got to do. Like, just be the best you can and just hope for the best to the end of the race.
It's going to be a little bit before we're back to the ovals, about 2 months' time, in fact. But 2 weeks from now, we'll be swinging to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, of course, up to Montreal, Canada. Do you reckon you can have a strong performance at a track that oftentimes races like that of a street circuit?
I mean, road courses it is what I do the best at, even though I've been doing pretty good in ovals this year. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough track to race on, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a great race to drive and watch, and hopefully it'll be another win.
Well, congratulations on taking home your second race win of the season, and we'll wish you the best of luck when we return to Montreal.
Thank you.
Ethan Agee comes home, the first repeat winner of 2024. We will, of course, bring down the driver that just barely falls second to him. It is Cameron Dance that brings it on up over here in the number 2 spot. And Cameron, it was a big fight between you and Ethan Agee all throughout this race. It so often is, but this time coming up just a little bit short again. But the strategy game was absolutely everything this afternoon.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, to be honest. I thought we were completely out of it about halfway with the fact that Ethan and Vesa had a whole lap on everybody. So, yeah, I was fully expecting to get a top 5, but then they put it in that last couple of laps, and it was like, Well, this is about to get interesting, but obviously 20 lap difference in tyres wasn't going to help too much. So yeah, I was going to give it a red hot go, but at the same time, it was like I was going to have to concede at some point, even if like it didn't matter how hard I tried. So yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate we didn't get a win, but still P2, pretty happy with that.
I think you have good reason to be happy about it. We saw a lot of drivers pitting at about lap 30 or so, lap 18 under the caution flags. You opted to go long, though, for that first stint until just shy of the halfway point, about 18 laps shy of it. What contributed to you wanting to run that first stint long instead of taking advantage of some yellow flags?
Mainly just tire difference, to be honest. I was just trying to hope that, obviously, with a little bit of lack of pace compared to the likes of Ethan and Andrew early on, that I could try and make something happen with newer tires. But yeah, the cautions just all fell in the sort of wrong place at the wrong time, so didn't really help us in the end. But yeah, I was tempted to do what Ethan did in that first caution lot, where we had all those cautions, and just bring it down and top it up and put some new tires on it. But yeah, opted not for two in the end, and just see if we could try something different. It sort of worked, but it sort of didn't in the end.
You've been putting together a lot of good performances at the road courses. You've, of course, got podium finishes at 4 of them. At 3 of them, sorry. Do you reckon that you'll be getting a 4th podium when we go racing to Montreal in 2 weeks?
Well, I hope so. I actually do enjoy Montreal, so hopefully it's a win to get a 2nd one on the board. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, still trying to make every position count, make every point count at the end of the day. So we'll see how we go, and yeah, hopefully can take a win and close that gap up.
All right, sounds like a plan. Best of luck when we go racing again in 2 weeks. Congratulations on 2nd place this afternoon.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Cameron Dance, the Orbit Motorsports driver, comes home 2nd place this afternoon. We'll move on down to Andrew Aitken. He is the final driver to close out the podium. And Andrew, it was a hard-fought race. You were overtaken relatively quickly by Ethan Aitken when he came out on fresh rubber. Much like Cameron Dance, you were opting to go late on your strategy. You did come down a little bit sooner than him, though, on that first stint of the first half of the race. Kind of walk us through the strategy for you tonight.
Yeah, my strategy kind of changed when I didn't go in with Ethan at the first pit stop. I wish I had done that now, but that's by the by. I had to go with what I had. But I don't think my pit stops are very fast. I don't know if you noticed that.
It wasn't the best of runs for the pit stop runs, but you were still able to get together enough that you can finally take that first podium for yourself on the season. Overall, the season, there's been ups, there's been downs. How do you reckon it's been going for you so far on average?
Yeah, I think I'm getting better in the second half of the season. I just wish all the ovals were these kind of tracks. It would suit me down to the ground. It's my track that I like for ovals.
I can feel that. We look towards Montreal 2 weeks from now, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. You've yet to get a podium on the road courses this season. You've got one for the ovals. Is Montreal where we're going to be seeing you get that podium, or will it might be later on in the season?
I don't think it'll be there, sadly. I'm not up to speed on the road circuits and places like that. One thing I would like to ask you at the start was it my doing that Jamie crashed out?
More netcode than anything. I mean, there was about 3 feet between the two of you.
All right, okay. I didn't feel anything in my car, as I said to my teammates, but I was just wondering if it was me bumped him out. I wasn't sure.
Well, rest assured, it's definitely not 100% your fault for that one, for sure. But obviously, big congratulations for finally taking that final podium, or the first podium finish, sorry, of the year. And of course, your second third place start of the year as well. And we'll see if you can follow that with some good results in the coming weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to thank my teammates as well for the practice which brought the setup today, which was brought by Johnny Garrett, which was a lovely setup, very good. And I'd also like to thank all my other teammates, especially Stumi, just for being Stumi.
And that is, of course, Andrew Aitken. He comes home 3rd place for the Flying Scotsman. We'll see him in 2 weeks again at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. But, well, with that is about all we're going to have time for one afternoon. But, boy, a wild show this afternoon. It so often is. The Classic IndyCar Series, it never, ever fails to disappoint. And I can tell you right now, we are in for a wild one when we go racing in just a little while at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. That's 2 weeks away, and there's a lot coming up before that. Of course, we'll have the OMSRO Cup Series. They're going to be running out at the Michigan International Speedway for their 7th race of competition. That'll be on August 20th at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. The Beer League with the Aussie Oval Pursuit. That'll be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time on August 21st on Wednesday night. And then the eve after on Thursday, the Speed Cup Series swings down to the Sunshine State and the World Center of Racing. Daytona plays host to the 6th round of the Thursday Night Cup Series on August 22nd. Don't forget as well the VSCA Sports Car Championship returning from their summer break. That will, of course, be coming at you live on August 24th in the morning / afternoon for the North Americans. And, of course, for the evening, that'll be a 2-hour and 40-minute race around Virginia International Raceway. If you missed this race, don't worry. ESTV will be rebroadcasting it in its entirety 1 week from today on Sunday. If you want to find more about who we are and what we can offer you, you can check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. I want to thank once again everybody for taking the time to join us. A big thanks to Pavement Recycling Systems and Butt Kicker for being proud sponsors once again of the Classic IndyCar Series. We will see you in 2 weeks when we swing to the Great White North in Montreal.